俺の財宝が欲しけりゃくれてやる。探せ。
You know that one friend who recommends you TV show after TV show? I definitely do. Every day they just come up to you and they say, "Hey Regan, you gotta watch Mr. Robot. It's peak fiction. Hey Regan, you'll love the Netflix original comedy Hoops, bro. Just give Ted Lasso a chance. I know you just love football." And then of course just every time you just write them off. Maybe you're even that guy. Well, I mean, we've all been that guy before. And every single recommendation comes to the exact same conclusion. It takes ages, months, sometimes even years before you get them to watch the one thing you've been begging them to do. I mean, I'm still trying to get one of my friends to watch Death Note. You know Death Note, that TV show everybody has watched? Yeah, he's not watched it somehow, and I'm telling him to watch this TV show I know he'll love. Everyone loves it. He'll love it. But no, he's just gonna... I don't know, just watch crap all day. Like, oh god. I mean, every once in a while you get that one show you have to pretend you like more than you actually do. Demon Slayer. Except Rengoku. But luckily, my friends know peak. I get recommended Vinland Saga, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Better Call Saul. And I've gone through this process enough times to have the scientific research to figure out what shows you're most likely to enjoy.
It's science time. Get ready for science.
Imagine that one friend, but imagine them on a global scale. Let's push it a bit. Let's say you have two whole friends. If your one friend recommends your other friend to watch, like, let's say Vinland Saga, and then your other friend starts recommending you Vinland Saga, that's an even better sign to watch it. That's like a 200% chance you're likely to enjoy it. Now multiply that statistic by 2 million other people, and now there's a 400 million% chance you'll enjoy it. One Piece is the biggest series to come out of Japan ever, and yeah, there's reasons why it's gained this status. I don't know if it's just me who has this, but every time I think of watching a show with a high status, like Breaking Bad or Sopranos, I always think to myself before going into it, yeah, it can't be that good. Yeah, sure, I know better than everyone in the world who's ever watched it. I thought the exact same thing before watching Attack on Titan, Everything Ever All at Once, and Avatar The Last Airbender. It's like, I just looked at it and it was like, it's a dumb Nickelodeon baby TV show for dumb babies. Why would I like it? And then guess what? I gave it a chance, I went through the process, and who'd have thunk it? It's fantastic. Before watching the rest of this video, I think it might be best for you to know something. This video is not like the other videos that tell you to start watching One Piece right away. I am like you. I haven't caught up. Not in the show, not in the manga. I haven't even read the best parts of the manga yet. I'm not even a quarter of the way through, but I still feel passion for this series. The reason I decided to sit down and make this video before even getting halfway through this series is because this is the exact type of video I would have liked to have watched before I started getting into One Piece. Because I think I have a perspective that I would have liked to see before starting One Piece. Someone who isn't a diehard fan, someone who isn't gonna call their firstborn child Tony Chopper. I just really like this series. When I was watching this type of video, I was seeing people with a collection of every volume sitting in the background of their setup, and then these people tell you why you need to start watching One Piece immediately. Of course, they're all more knowledgeable about One Piece than I am. Well, I think I just mean when I was watching YouTube videos, seeing if I would actually like to try One Piece, I would have liked to watch a video where it's someone who isn't completely caught up with One Piece telling you why you should start this monumental task right now. Obviously, these people are the experts, the people who live and breathe One Piece. These people have a million times more knowledge than I do on the franchise, but I was longing for a perspective of someone who wasn't a complete One Piece fanatic telling you why you need to start watching it because it's their favorite thing in the entire world. I really like One Piece, it is very endearing to me, but not to the degree of this guy or this guy. Like, I'm at a stage where I bought some books. My friend gifted me this for my birthday and he's very nice. Well, actually, what I do have is these books. I found volume 1 in my local bookstore one day, and then I bought it because I was like, might as well, that's a cool collectible. And then volume 9 is my favorite One Piece volume by far. And then I bought these to see what reading the manga physically is like and if I like it more than digitally. I mean, hopefully it's bad because I got 98 more volumes to go. I find myself mostly reading One Piece at work when I'm not busy. If you were an acquaintance, friend, peer, superior, or subordinate of Regan, This statement is legally classified as a joke which is made purely in fiction for entertainment purposes. As of writing the script, I'm on chapter 254, which seems like a big number on paper. Like there's whole series that get completely wrapped up by this time, but unironically, the first 100 chapters feel like a prelude to the actual really real story. As for the most part, it's just gathering the main crew. A good prelude, mind you, don't worry, you like it. That volume 9, my favorite volume from earlier, contains chapters 72 to 81. That's how good this area is. I'm going to break this video down into a few parts. Part 1 is going to be the most asked question of One Piece. When does One Piece get good? My thoughts on the question itself and why it has kind of like issues around it, as well as my own answer for it. Part 2 is the world building of One Piece and my favorite example of Oda's writing. Everyone talks about the world building of One Piece, and like I'm going to show you a few examples why. Part 3 is going to be the characters of One Piece and why they are the most important part of the series, and then I get to talk about my 3 favorite characters. Part 4 is going to be about the themes of One Piece and my favorite panels so far and their meaning on the franchise. Part 5 is going to be about all the different ways you can experience One Piece and just laying them out in front of you. And then there'll be a little conclusion bit at the end where I just wrap this up and give a bit on why I personally got into One Piece. Great, got it, good, right.
Hey guys, it's Future Regan here with a far better mic. Since starting this video, I've become like really sick. Sick with One Piece fever! I've also had a lung infection between uploads, but that's not important. Yeah, it's been a few months since I made progress on this video, and in that time, my opinion on One Piece has changed drastically. I liked One Piece before. I really liked One Piece, and I just wanted to share my views as like a One Piece beginner, but now I kind of like love One Piece. I still haven't caught up yet, so don't worry, I'm still no expert on it, but I think what I'm gonna do is jump in at the end of each part and say what I agree with and don't agree with now with a new lease on One Piece. Past Regan still has some valid points to make. So in this video, you're going to be getting 2 perspectives. One of chapter 200-ish Regan and chapter 602 Regan.
Part 1, one part. The number one question most asked before getting into One Piece is when does it get good? And yeah, I'm going to give the same answer as everybody else. It's episode 40 or chapter 69. Arlong Park is just definitively where One Piece hits its stride. The emotion, the action, the backstories, all the best Oda's done, by far. That's why everybody gives the same answer. It's like saying Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 2 is the best part, or saying like Part 7 is the best JoJo part. It's just facts. It's just like the best. But really what I wanted to know is when does One Piece get fantastic? Like everyone who calls One Piece their favorite show of all time obviously didn't call it that by episode 40. Arlong Park is just a taste, a little nibble of what Oda can do with his writing. I'm not even going to give you the synopsis of Arlong Park. It works best if you don't know about it. I mean, like, duh. If I genuinely thought it didn't matter, I would tell you. Here, the Alabasta arc works with you knowing. The Straw Hats land at Alabasta and find it on the verge of a civil war due to mismanaged government and then try to help out. Here's the one for Skypiea. The Straw Hats compass points to the sky showing the next island they should go to. Once they reach it, they're hunted for trespassing the Sky Island while going on a pirate gold hunt. I'm still keeping my mouth shut about Arlong Park. There's a reason why at 6:08 AM I sent my friend who dropped One Piece within a singular episode a message saying One Piece might unironically be peak. And if you think in 25 years Oda hasn't topped this arc made in 1999 and it hasn't been cancelled yet, you're just incorrect. In a business sense, this cannot be possible if One Piece hasn't reached above what it was 25 years ago.
Hey, Past Regan, guess what? You're wrong and stupid. Well, like, kinda. One Piece does get good at Arlong Park. That is the first fantastic arc to come out of this series. But the exact episode One Piece hits its stride, in my opinion, is episode 187. Okay, that sounds bad, but it really isn't. Episode 187 is when One Piece gets its status of one of the best stories ever told. Ever since episode 187, One Piece has not once missed. Every arc before it is good to great. It's not like the show becomes watchable on episode 187. Essentially, Arlong Park is a high point in the series, but episode 187 onwards beats that high point and then never stops getting better. I'm on like episode 520-ish, and since episode 187, it's only gotten better and better. What I like to do is look at some maths here. 1122 minus 187 is 935. That is 935 episodes of a show you will adore. That seems like a fantastic deal to me. Anyways, back to me, but dumber.
Part 2. Man, when people talk about the world building in One Piece, they do it for a reason. Oda does a thing after every chapter called the SBS Question Corner, where readers ask questions ranging from in-world lore to birthdays for characters, ask them about powers, and they actually call Oda out for plot holes, where he goes and then he fills them. My favorite one comes from this one panel of a devil fruit user being able to float in this pool. If you don't know the lore, this shouldn't be possible because once a devil fruit user eats a devil fruit, they give up their ability to swim, so this guy should be drowning. Oda addressed this in probably the most Oda way possible. He addresses it by saying the guy had a plank of wood under him. Duh. You can just see it, just look harder, idiot. And he even adapted this for the show. It's great. Here's some lore revealed there that I loved the most. In chapter 265, someone asked, "Hello, I'm a big fan of Nami. So here's a question. Nami's wearing that bracelet even when she's taking a bath. I thought it must be something really important, so I looked through all the volumes, and she's been wearing it since they came out of Kokoyashi Village." This bracelet has never been brought up before. Hundreds of chapters of Nami, and it's not been a big deal out of. It's just a detail Oda added just to flesh out the world in a beautiful way once you understand the context. It just makes you want to investigate every panel of the manga to see what else is there.
You know what, Pastor Regan? You are 100% correct here. Can you name another man who had a character design and an idea for 9 years and didn't use it until the perfect moment, never jumping the gun? No, Boa Hancock is one of the most important characters in One Piece. Oda had her character design, backstory, as well as how she would fit into the overall story for 9 whole years. That is just unheard of in any piece of media ever.
Part 3. The characters of One Piece are the things that glue this series together. In a world where there's seemingly no hub islands so far, whenever the crew leave an island, they have no way of getting back unless they have access to a special compass, which is actually quite rare. It's these main characters that we get to hang out with and that are a constant for every arc. Some of the moments I first think of when I think of One Piece is just when they're on the boat, being friends and hanging out. If I had to choose a favorite character, it would actually be really difficult for me. I got a few. Nami's my favorite out of the Straw Hats. She's a really good straight man for all the weird cast to bounce off of. But whenever money's involved, she's always just in head first, and it's just, I like it. Ace and Shanks are both gunning for the top spots, and both are barely in it so far, but they're just so cool. Shanks is introduced in the very first chapter, and so far he's only been in 4 chapters. But honestly, every chapter he's in, it's amazing. It's an event for me. His appearance in the very first chapter is just outstanding. He's the one person Luffy wants to become, and you can see his influence in every single interaction Luffy has in the series. And Ace is introduced in chapter 154, and kind of steals the show from the get-go. He's a fire guy, just like a chill dude. Now I don't know what to tell you. The volume he appears in is titled Ace Arrives. Like, that's how you know he's a highlight of the series. I can't name one bad card. In One Piece, they're all likable. They all have a redeeming feature about them. And if they have a weakness, it's always improved on in the future. Oda isn't afraid to make characters different from their initial appearance. Usopp turned from a character I never thought I'd like, and then he turned into a character that pulls through when he's really needed. He turns from a cowardly liar to a courageous liar, and when the time comes for him to step up, he does.
Hey, Pastor Regan, sorry to tell you this, but the best character in One Piece is Monkey D. Luffy, and it's not even close. I mean, like, Ace and Shanks are still up there for me, but Monkey D. Luffy is genuinely competing for the top spot of my favorite characters of all time. But yeah, Past Me was absolutely correct here. The characters only get better. If you ask Pastor Regan about Usopp, he'd say, like, he likes him, but he doesn't love him or anything. But now, whenever he is on that page, my day just gets better.
Part 4. Part 4. Part 4. I'm going to show you my 2 favorite manga panels in One Piece. They'll be out of context because, like, spoilers. But I'll try my best to express the emotion that they convey. This one is my favorite manga panel in One Piece. I'd go as far to say it's my favorite manga panel of all time. I don't know if there's anything else that can compare. And this one is a close second. These 2 panels to me are One Piece's themes boiled down to a singular image. One Piece is about being the best person you can be, by helping those around you and seeing the best in people. These themes seem childish from the surface, but Oda does not shy away from the hardships. People laugh at you, call you foolish, there's struggles throughout, and it is just absolutely comparable to the real world. There's not many shows like this. Sure, My Hero Academia is very follow your dreams-esque, but Deku is handed the best superpower of all time and is like best friends with the #1 superhero in the world, but Luffy starts off with a boat and a dream. And a devil fruit, but like, cut him some slack. I'm the kind of guy to believe anyone can achieve their dreams. If they have a job they want to be able to create a piece of art, want to achieve something in their life that they deem impossible, like they can. Not everyone can do it. It takes a lot of time, effort, and dedication, and there's a lot of things to get in your way. I don't know if I'm probably conveying this. Obviously, I'm missing out a lot of nuance here because this is a One Piece video, but simply put, One Piece is about the human spirit and how unstoppable dreams are. A man can will, but cannot will what he wills, is a quote I think of. Sometimes we can't choose what we want, and we can't be satisfied until we have these wants. Mostly for me, it's just waking up and wanting to sleep for 20 more minutes. But sometimes someone wants to do something that can take a lot of long days and long nights. That could even be you right now or sometime in the future. It's a series that speaks to the human spirit, and it's beautiful.
Before getting into One Piece, I would like kind of internally scoff at the idea that something that hasn't ended in over 1,000 episodes can have spoilers in it. I used to think that One Piece was just arcs about nothing, and then Luffy and his gang win at the end, and then it all concludes in a nice tight bow, and then they go off into their next adventure. But that is like so far from the truth. I'd say like as soon as the crew reaches the Grand Line, that's when the true story begins. But everything before is considered the prelude. But yeah, Pastor Regan, well done. You're spot on.
Bonus round. Business fact of the day. Here, listen. I've studied business for nearly half a decade. I'm here to spread some knowledge. Did you know that in business, if a thing isn't good or isn't doing well, it gets cancelled? Crazy, right? This means if a show is cut short, it's most likely losing money. Nobody likes it. Or probably bad. I mean, of course, that's not the only reason shows get cancelled. Netflix haven't made a good decision in like its entire lifetime. But let's take a look at the opposite for this. If a show is long and goes on forever, that means it's profitable. Many people like it, and it is good. Wow, The Walking Dead, 11 seasons, 5 spin-offs, and I can attest it is a very good show. Grey's Anatomy, 20 seasons, 2 spin-offs. My mum can attest it is a good show. One Piece, 1,000 and so far 94 episodes, 15 movies and a cookbook. Millions of fans. What do you think? Part 6. One Piece is like most things in life. Start now instead of tomorrow. Just do it. You want to get healthy? Consume a banana right now. No better time than the present. Why put it off? It will only be harder and harder to do it later on. And if you want to start One Piece, do you know what's going to happen next week? Chapter 1072 is coming out. Episode 1095 is releasing. The goal to catch up is only getting further and further away. Only getting harder, only getting more daunting. Do you know what was said 5 years ago? Hey, oh my goodness, you ever heard about that show One Piece? Apparently it's good, but it's got like 800 episodes. Like, who's got time for that? Right now, people would kill to have only 800 episodes to watch. I know, of course, it's easier said than done. I'm guilty of putting it off by myself, but that's okay. Hiatuses are just like kind of a thing that's gonna happen. But if you're interested, I have a couple of options. In essence, you only have a few options. Option 1, read the manga. Hey, it's the quickest option out there. It's the pure stuff. The only way you can get a more refined One Piece is by learning Japanese and buying the physical Japanese volumes. Option B, watch the show. You know, the biggest put off of this is like the animation. It's kind of old. But obviously, it gets more refined over the decades. Look at this intro. It's just beautiful. You can always combine the first option and the second option and read up to when the animation gets good, which is episode 207 or chapter 303. Or you can just combine them. If the show is a bit slow, just read it. If there's an action scene in the manga you think would look better animated, then just watch it. This fight rocks. This one kinda doesn't. It's easy. As soon as the One Piece is revealed, everyone will know what it is. My dad is gonna know what it is. Your dad's gonna know what it is. And you're gonna find out one way or another.
Hey, so this part is going to be entirely taken over by Future Regan. Pastor Regan just goes on to say all the ways you can consume One Piece and breaks down the prices and stuff. But Pastor Regan is stupid and that's boring along. Basically, One Piece is cheaper than you think. Viz Media have an app that has every single One Piece chapter on it for $3 a month, or £3 in the UK. That's 12, insert currency here, a year. It is an extraordinary price for what you get, but that is the best way to read it in my opinion. You can read it anywhere. When I was on holiday, I was constantly reading it. I just downloaded like 100 chapters at a time and tore through them. I was on a boat, so I was like reading a series about boat adventures while being on a boat. It was awesome. If you want to watch it in the UK, it's all in English dub on the BBC iPlayer, which is like free Or if you say you pay your TV license, they don't check. They're like, it's really easy to get by. So yeah, if you pay the UK like taxes, your money is directly paying for me to watch One Piece. So thanks. And it's all on Netflix or Crunchyroll over there in America and the rest of the world. America is most of my views, so they get special treatment. Sorry, Australia. If it were up to me, I'd recommend for you to read it. It just really cuts down on your time and eliminates any of the pacing issues I've heard the show has. And if you're feeling like a straw hat pirate and going yo ho ho to watch One Piece, that's alright, I won't tell anyone.
This is the end bit. This is the end of the video. Woo!
Hi guys, Future Regan here. My original conclusion was actually like good, but I feel like a new one is in order. Although it is in the name, One Piece isn't really about the One Piece. Sounds crazy, right? But I want to show you a fantastic scene from chapter 507. The Straw Hats come across a man who knows the exact location of the One Piece. Usopp, in excitement, asks the man where the One Piece is, but Luffy silences his friend. Luffy's entire life goal is to find the One Piece, but he doesn't want to know where it is, as that would ruin the fun of the adventure. This is what I interpreted as Oda directly saying to the viewer that this story is not about the treasure in the end, but the adventures along the way. I think new people look at One Piece and the first thing they think is, why haven't they found the One Piece after 1,000 episodes? But this series isn't concretely about that. It's about the fun of the adventure, the beauty of the characters, and following your dreams. Thank you so much for getting to the end of this video. Please give One Piece a chance, and then one day you might annoy your friends as much as I do about One Piece. Goodbye.